So it's time once again for Rants Review Friday, and this time we're checking out Renegade Game Studios' Lanterns the Harvest Festival. Let's open this up and talk a little bit more about it. It can be played with players 8 and up. It estimates lasting about 30 minutes of gameplay. And you play with 2 to 4 players. Okay. So let's open this up. So we got our manual right on top. A little guide of other games that they've made. The Tea Dragon Society, Stellar, and the Fox in the Forest Duet. Looks cute. We've got a series of punch cards, a bag of wooden tokens with a silica packet, an additional bag, kind of a warped tray, but a tray nonetheless, and then a stack of cards. So we have turn sequence cards, as well as dedicated types cards. And then we have a deck of lantern cards that seem to have colors, and looks like there's pretty much colors of the types of lanterns, but like even like the types, like the stars or silver, they're all gonna be that same kind, and color, they're all the same individual types in those colors. That's very uniform there. As for the tokens, they're all pretty much identical wooden tokens, with the exception of the boat token. And then these are the lantern tiles that you can punch out. They are one-sided. I like the different types of styles of lanterns. Clearly, I'm thinking this is going to be something similar to like dominoes, with the way that the cards basically have to line up on play. But I do like how some of them have unique artwork on them in the center as well. These cards here are actually dedication cards, and we'll go over them as we go through the game. They have matching colors, and those will form dedication stacks that you'll set up on the board. And I'll show you how to set up the board in a second. Okay. So you're gonna take the 4 dedication blank tokens and put them on the right side. Then you're gonna take all the reds and you're gonna stack them up in their numerical order. And they represent types of values the cards can have as they're being collected. If you notice that there are 4 and 3 dots on the dedication tokens, that is a specific thing used for rebalancing the game depending on how many players you play. The game allows you to play the game with anywhere between 2 to 4 players. If you're playing the game with less than a certain number of players, then you will basically remove those tokens based on the number of players you're playing with. So if you're playing with 3 players, move all the tokens that specifically have the 4 tokens on them. If you are playing with 3 players, 2 players, you remove all the ones that have 4 and 3 things on them. Those are indicators of what levels they are. The stacks start off on their higher amounts with a specific reason. The reason being, as you draw from the dedication stacks, they start to dwindle down, and you can get less and less honor by performing the combinations we'll talk about in a second. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the lantern tokens, or cards, and you're going to set them down on the table in their specific sets. Because people will, throughout the game, regularly draw from the stacks as they make their combinations and will also hand out cards to other players as they make the combinations. If you want to have these by every player, it does make sense to have them as little guides to make it helpful for them. You're going to go through the stack and you're going to look for the tile that has the boat. That is your starting token. If I remember correctly, I think it was rather early on. There you go. You are then going to take these lake tokens and you're going to deal them out to players in threes. And that's going to represent their tokens in their hands. You can set the stack to the side afterwards because you're going to be drawing from that as the game goes. Now, just to be aware, when you are playing the game with less players, you will adjust how many lanterns are in the stack, and you will adjust how many lake tokens are in the stack. With regards to a 4-player game, there's going to be 32 lake tiles on there. If it's a 3-player game, it's 27. 2-player game, 22 tiles. With regards to the lanterns, 4-player games, 8 each. 3 players, 7 each. 2 players, 5 each. That way, you start running out of cards on here, and you can't get them back until they're spent. And then with regards to the lake tiles indicates how long the game lasts. Once the lake tiles are gone, the game is over. So on your turn, well, first and foremost, the token in the center is placed at random, and the player that has the red lanterns facing them gets the boat token and gets to go first because red is the indication of good luck. There are 3 things you can do on your turn. 1 is mandatory, 2 are optional. The first of which is trading in favor tokens, which I'll show you how to get later, to trade one of your lantern cards for different lantern cards. And then the next thing is to trade in your lanterns for dedications. So for instance, you can do 4-of-a-kind lanterns to get the dedication of that. You can get 3 pairs of 2. Which is nice, and then you've got the larger one, which is the 7 unique, which is 7 different lanterns of different colors to get that dedication. You can only turn in 1 dedication per turn, and then you go to your next action, which is you have to place a lantern. When you place a lantern, it has to be adjacent to an existing lantern. So if you place red, it has to match red, and then you get a lantern in your hand that matches the pair that you matched. Then all other players will get lanterns that matches the color of the lantern facing them. So because I placed red, I will get red, and the player on the other side will get red, while as all other players get green because green faces all their players. Then I draw back up my hand. You want to keep your lanterns clean and quiet away from everyone else. Then the next player will choose theirs. You get to choose, of course, which tile you've placed. So when you place this one down here, you'll see it's a little bit different now. On top of getting the black lantern, because he placed a matching black lantern, he also is going to get a favor token for placing down or placing on a platform. Because the favors will be collected, you can use them to spend the game. They're pretty regularly, easily handed out. Then all players will be dealt lantern cards based on where their angles or sittings are. So 1 black here, 1 black there, and then 2 white lantern cards will be dealt out to their respective areas. And the game keeps going like this. Until we run out of lanterns, tile cards. So as you're playing the game, say for instance, I would have collected 4 red lanterns. Let's say 3. I have 3. I have 2 favor tokens. At the beginning of my turn, I can spend 2 favor tokens to trade the black lantern for the red lantern. I can then spend this dedication to return these to the sack to get the 1 of 4. The 8 honor points, and then I get to place my tile on the board, which will put these. That would be like the turn, dial out the lanterns. But once the pile's gone, you're going to count up all of your honor tokens that you have, and the person with the most honor wins. So it's very simple, very easy to play, and pretty kind of cool, pretty unique, pretty interesting. I will say this though, you cannot have more than 12 cards in your hand. So once you get to the dedication phase, if you can't dedicate out your cards, then you would have to discard down to 12 at that point in the gameplay. Pretty straightforward though. It is a really easy to kind of understand once you get playing. It's got that similar kind of like almost dominoes-esque kind of feel, while also being very unique and interesting to the concept and idea of, say, for instance, a lantern festival, which is really cool. Hope you guys found this interesting. Hopefully you guys pick this up for yourself, and we will see you guys next week for our next Rants and Review.